Hey, I'm Jeremiah. I help create the Connect the Dots podcast.
Hi, my name is Primo Mateo. On the podcast, I run the editing and the producing of the episodes.
Hello, my name is Jeannie Torres. I am the Executive Director for Guide Dogs of Hawaii. Well, in my job, I had to find ways to be able to communicate with the blind community. Members of the community had different ways of accessing information. And so what my goal was to try to find as many ways that we could put information out that would allow, the community to access if they knew how to do it. And then for those that didn't know how, we wanted to do it in a way where it would be easy for them to learn how to access the information. So the podcast came about as an idea, just one other idea of reaching out to the community.
So at first it was just something different every time between, accessible technology, guide dogs, maybe the camping trip that we held with our youth. But we decided to switch off of that and do a series. So we switched into doing, careers that people who are blind or visually impaired have. We're planning on recording people who are blind or visually impaired who do sports, and we're going to have multiple episodes on that with different people with different experiences. As far as, coming up with the questions and stuff, it's a little difficult to know what to ask because you also have to think about how they're going to reply and where that's going to lead. So there's a bit of a structure to it, but I had help. I didn't have experience at first, so after a bit of practice, it gets easier.
The process to edit is so. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, depending on how the podcast was recorded, depending on if we have to take a lot of things out or if we got to insert a lot of things. It's a pretty cool layout too, how we did the podcast, and I really like it. I really like how it came out. Right now I'm working on some edits with one of our clients, and she's also a pretty big person in the BVI community. So I'm editing her vocals.
Thing that goes along with that, although you don't want to do this overly much.
Basically, I'm gonna reinsert. So Jeremiah asked her the questions. She answered the questions, but I'm reinserting Jeremiah's parts to coincide with her questions. It's just a little bit. The questions are a little bit more in depth. That how we want it to be presented on the episode. So that's pretty much what's going on right now.
I would say the ones that haven't been released are starting to be, some of my favorites. So we have recorded some in this new fashion. The way we do it before is we'd have a script and we would pre-record the script and we would get sound bites and introduce the sound bites into the pre-recording that we already have. But we switched it into an interview style that I like, where I schedule it with this person, they come in, and we have like an hour-long conversation, and then we edit that down into an episode. And I think just last week I interviewed someone who was a college counselor, and that was probably my favorite recording session in the process.
Well, I think the podcast has pretty much a wide open highway in which to travel. The goal, I think, is still the same, where we want blind individuals to present to the blind subjects, content that would interest them. The one thing good about the podcast also is that now it's not going to be limited to presenting information and experiences from just local individuals, but in the near future we plan to bring in individuals from other parts of the world that would be able to share, experiences and life experiences as well as career experiences with people here that they wouldn't otherwise get